Hey everybody, this could be a short video on pages 19 to 20. Today we're looking at prohibition, which was the ban on the sale of alcohol in America during the 1920s. I can tell you this doesn't come up in the GED very often. The only reason why it might come up is propaganda. Now, propaganda means making something to try and change other people's ideas. So there will be many posters made that were propaganda. Posters that tried to show why alcohol was bad or tried to show why alcohol was good. And these kinds of posters, pictures, cartoons might come up in the GED exam, and you have to understand the point of view of the person making them. So it's good if you have a little bit of background knowledge, but this is not a very important topic, so you shouldn't spend much time reviewing this in the future. In January 1920, the US government made the production and sale of alcohol illegal. This was known as the Volstead Act and declared that any drink with more than 0.5% alcohol content was illegal. The only way to make alcohol illegal in the whole of the country was to make a special law called an amendment. An amendment means part of the Constitution. The Constitution is the highest law in the country. So it was the 18th Amendment in 1920 that banned the sale, production, and consumption of alcohol. So why did it happen? Well, many campaigns, many people had lobbied and tried to persuade the government to make this happen. One example was the Women's Christian Temperance Union, who had tried to make alcohol illegal since 1875. Now, women were less likely to drink than men, and so they tried to make alcohol illegal. Also, they said that men would waste their money on alcohol, that they might spend all their money from their job drinking alcohol and not give money to the woman to take care of the children. Some of them said that alcohol could make men violent and cause damage in the family. And some of them just said that alcohol is not Christian. Now, I know that many Karen Baptist churches say that Christians should not drink alcohol, and that's because the Karen Baptist Church came from the American North American Baptist. Most places in the world do not see any link between Christianity and drinking. I can tell you that when I go to my pastor house in England to have a meal with him, there will be wine or there will be beer on the table. It's normal in the West, in most places in the West, for people to drink. But in America, there were some Christians that said men, women, people should not drink. And so you had this temperance union. Temperance means not drinking. If you look at the picture, you can see one of the police officers. After America made alcohol illegal, there was a certain group of police officers that would go around trying to catch people making or selling alcohol. And just like in Myanmar, I think you see on Facebook, when they have the big machine that rolls over the illegal alcohol, in America, they would take axes to the barrels and break open the alcohol into the street so that nobody could drink it. However, this ban was not popular. Many people like to have a drink. Imagine that we try to make a law in Myanmar. Alcohol is now illegal. Nobody can buy or sell or drink alcohol. Do you think it would be very popular? Nah. Some people might like it, but the majority of people would not like it. Most people thought that having a few drinks was not bad, it was not wrong, it was not harmful. And so many people began to make their own illegal alcohol, which was called moonshine. Often this was made from potatoes, but it was made very similar to Thydor, the Karen Thydor that you make from rice, while the Americans would make alcohol from potatoes in a very similar way. That you'd take the potato, you'd ferment it, mix it with some yeast, and the reaction would cause alcohol. However, just like with Dido, the result can sometimes be dangerous. Sometimes people could get ill or go blind, or sometimes people could even die, especially if they mixed it with other things. In Karen state, sometimes they mix too much BE, and Karen would go blind or die from mixing too much BE with the thydol. And exactly the same kind of idea was happening in America. Often in towns and cities, businessmen would open up illegal drinking bars. These illegal bars, which were called speakeasies, were set up behind locked doors. You had to know the place to go. You had to know the special password or the special knock on the door to be allowed in. They were run by organized crime, and by 1920 there were nearly 250,000 speakeasies, and 30,000 speakeasies were just in New York City. 30,000 illegal bars in one city. So you can see that the law to ban alcohol was not popular. Drinking was fun, drinking was popular, and it was popular with both workers and the police. And if the police liked to do it, then the police were not going to stop people selling alcohol because they also wanted to buy alcohol. There was neither the will nor the means to stop it. There was not the will. The police did not want to stop it. They didn't have the heart or the desire or the will to stop it. And 250,000 illegal bars in America, even if every police officer in the whole of the country had been given to stopping people drinking alcohol, they would not have had enough people. And of course, the police had other things to do as well, to stop shootings, to stop stabbings, to stop burglaries and rape and fights. There were many things that the police should do. There simply were not enough elite police to stop this. There was a special police group called the Prohibition Bureau who were employed to stop people bootlegging, which was transporting alcohol, but they only had 4,000 officers. 4,000 officers for the whole country when there were 250,000 illegal bars. So you can see it was never going to be easy to stop people drinking. And actually 10% of those 4,000 agents were fired because they took bribes and they were drinking. There were a few people like Eliot Ness who really did want to stop people drinking, but the majority did not care. In fact, they liked people to drink. Most American people did not agree with the law, and they were very happy to break the law because they thought it was stupid. I suppose if you look around Karen State, most people do not agree that you need a license to drive. About half of the motorbikes in Karen State have no license because people don't see the need. If people don't understand the need for something, then they're not going to follow the law. Prohibition finally ended in 1933 with the 21st Amendment. President Roosevelt, who'd just been elected, announced on the radio, "Let's all go and have a drink." So you see, even the president wanted to go and have a drink. So although the law lasted for about 13 years, it was not popular and it was not successful. Okay, hopefully you've copied down those brief notes just to give you a bit of background. I would like you to do these questions on page 20. There are 5 basic comprehension questions, and then there's a source question. For this source question, I'll explain a little bit. I want you to look at this poster. It was part of the propaganda, the attempt to persuade people to change their idea. And it was used by those who wanted to introduce prohibition. Question number 1, what does the show? What does the poster show? Medullaire, metronolaire, what does the poster show? Not why, not when, not where, just very simply, what can you see in this picture? Question 2 is a little bit more difficult. How does this picture try to change what people think? Why did the people that made this picture choose it to try and change what people think? Complete this work before tomorrow.